He was the man who broke down the fourth wall through the TV sets of millions of Americans and introduced a whole generation to a land of both shadow and substance, of the bizarre and the supernatural.
You just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Rod Serling was the architect whose vision and ideas laid the foundation for the critically acclaimed CBS series, The Twilight Zone. The show, while only lasting 5 years and twice being canceled and revived, was groundbreaking in its ability to blur the lines between fantasy and reality, fact and fiction, while simultaneously delivering life lessons that 50 years later still apply to the world today. According to the Serling Archive, Serling drew inspiration for many of the show's most famous episodes from his experience as a youth.
There is no denying the impact that Rod Serling's work had and continues to have on American pop culture, from the Twilight Zone and beyond. In fact, many episodes of the Twilight Zone are inspired from his childhood growing up here in Binghamton, such as the famous Rec Park carousel that inspired the episode Walking Distance. As one Serling historian puts it, his work inspired millions, but the inspiration from that work comes from right here at home in Binghamton.
It really fueled his nostalgia for, I think, a simpler and better time.
Paul Gallagher is a Rod Serling blogger, historian, and creator of the Twitter feed The Night Gallery. He notes the impact that growing up in the pre-World War II era had, and the yearning to travel back and relive those childhood moments had on Serling's later work, allowing those who had neither seen or traveled to Binghamton to be able to still relate.
As he himself said later in life, he had a very deep-seated desire for nostalgia and wanting to go back. He had such a skill for communicating a desire for a simpler and better time that even people who have never set foot in Binghamton and never will, it connects with them.
Rod Serling was born on Christmas Day in Syracuse, New York in 1924. His family would eventually relocate to this house on the west side of Binghamton. According to the Rod Serling Archive, in elementary school, Serling was seen as the class clown, dismissed by many of his teachers as a lost cause. However, according to an article from the Binghamton Press and Sun Bulletin, it was his 7th grade English teacher, Helen Foley, who encouraged him to take up extracurriculars that focused on public speaking. Serling often professed his pride for the city he grew up in. He once famously said, quote, "Everyone has to have a hometown. Binghamton is mine."
Entertainment and education.
Arguably, no one demonstrates the impact Rod Serling had on residents in the city better than Michael Pfeiffer, the historian and archivist at the Rod Serling Archive in the Bundy Museum in Binghamton. Pfeiffer, a self-admitted Twilight fanatic, first met Serling back in 1970. 45 years later, the archive was opened, where now fans from all over the world can come free of charge and experience a massive collection of nostalgic memorabilia, set props, and personal items from both Serling's career and life.
That first year, we had over 3,000 people from 48 states came here to see the archive. Now, that's a testament in itself, and it continues to grow.
Yet for all of the accomplishments and achievements in Serling's illustrious life and career, for decades there were no monuments or memorials erected in his memory. Pfeiffer says he and Helen Foley for years tried to get the city to dedicate certain landmarks in Serling's name, such as efforts to have the Broome County Forum renamed. 2 years ago, he says a petition was created to rename Recreation Park Rod Serling's Recreation Park. Even with over 4,000 signatures, Pfeiffer says they were told the city wouldn't look at it unless there were 5,000, ultimately falling short of the requirement.
Why do you feel it's taken so long for the city of Binghamton to put something in honor of him and his work and his legacy?
I'm not sure what the problem was. We've got all of these people, of which Rod is world-renowned. Statistics on television shows that I Love Lucy, Twilight Zone, and the Jackie Gleason Show are being shown every minute of every day throughout the world. There's not a place or time they're not being aired. And yet, we still haven't been able to get anything until the statue.
Years of failed memorial attempts culminated into success in August of 2022, after the Rod Serling Foundation launched a fundraising campaign with the dream of building a Rod Serling statue in Recreation Park. That dream became a reality when Assemblywoman Donna Lopardo announced a $50,000 grant to the foundation.
I'm thrilled beyond description. I just can't wait to the dedication next year. It'll be his 100th birthday next year. We're just thrilled to have something.
As final preparations are currently underway for the unveiling of the Serling statue in 2024, Michael Pfeiffer and admirers of his work look to the future, that at last homage will finally be paid, and Rod Serling will continue to be a symbol of what greatness can come from his hometown, the city of Binghamton.
For you, what is the lasting legacy of Rod Serling and his connection to Binghamton?
As long as Binghamton's here, Rod Serling is going to be a part of it. We're promoting Binghamton as well as Binghamton is trying to keep Rod's legacy alive.
Keith Jogonatis, 12 News, Binghamton.